Hey, so before you watch this video, did you know that we have a new show called Ask Ulises? Hashtag Ask Ulises, where we answer your health questions, or more specifically, my dad answers your questions. So if you have a health questions, whether it's regarding mental health, physical health, questions regarding relationships, you can go on social media and ask your question using the hashtag Ask Ulises. Or you can send us an email at askulises.com and we'll create videos of my dad answering those questions. Now, on to the video.
Hello again, friends. Welcome back to College Corner. I'm here again with my dad. We are going to have a slightly different video today in the sense of, yes, I have been talking with my dad over the last few videos, but we're kind of just going to have a discussion about stress. We started last time, and I hope if you haven't seen the video, I would highly recommend watching it. But today we're just going to talk about some stressors for college students, but also maybe just for young adults in general today, and possibly talking about some other stress reducing tips. So here we go.
Okay, I think what we need to acknowledge is that the fact that we live, there are things that are stressors, like little triggers that actually turns the stress mechanism. And through life, we're gonna experience these stressors that can come from, traffic in the highway, to being late for classes, or perhaps, money itself, or a relationship. All these comes from from outside us. Okay. It's not really considered to be bad. No? When we talk about stress, we say, it's bad. No, stress is bad. And of course, this is not true. No. Stress is good, actually. Okay, good stress, though. Because if we turn the good stress into a psychological stress, that's when, the real problem begins.
I think, I'm not entirely sure because my memory escapes me, that you probably talked about this in the last video, but I'm not entirely sure. Do you mind explaining briefly, or in just very simple terms, what the difference is between good stress and bad stress? Like, what's the change in that? Because you sent me a document that's earlier this week, just talking about kind of that difference. But do you mind going over that?
Sure. Our physical body is designed to respond to anything that is out of the ordinary. Okay, and if it's real danger, then there is a specific type of response. This is when you're driving and a truck is coming right in front of you, or somebody wants to rob you. Okay, or perhaps a dog, it just barks and trying to bite you. So the stress response is for protection. It's just all it is, protection. So the physiology of this is that blood vessels contract in a lot of places, where, like some parts of the brain, or your intestines, your stomach. So these areas are not going to have enough energy, because the energy is actually reserved for your muscles, because you might have to jump out of the car or fight the person that's trying to rob you, or maybe run. So that stress, the brain knows that it's going to be damaged. So then the body produces a lot of these inflammatory chemicals that it helps you repair once after the fear of being attacked by somebody. And it takes some time, to repair. This is not a bad stress either, because this is just stress that helps you under those situations. And it lasts only, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, maybe a minute. It's just not long. And we don't have a lot of really danger. I don't know how many times they've been trying to rob you since you remember.
I've never had someone rob me.
You probably saw a lot on TV, but not in real life.
There's a reason why when I walk down the street, if I'm ever walking down at nighttime, I walk fast and I'm looking behind me, and I'm just go.
So really through life, there's only few moments in your life where you really have a real threat. A real danger. So it's not many times. So even though the effect of these 20 seconds of that kind of stress increase damage, okay, so since we don't stress that way a lot of times, so there is a repair. The other stress is the stress when there is a challenge. And the challenge is anything, really, anything. We are in front of a stressor, there's no money. Okay, so really the money issue becomes a challenge. Okay, or maybe I have a test, or maybe I just found out that one of my siblings make a boo-boo and make a big mistake.
Okay, and I just wanted to clarify something. So a stressor is something that will turn like the stress hormones on, basically tell your body to just keep pumping those
that is
chemicals?
good. Yeah, those chemicals are gonna pop into it, because, but the difference is when there is a stress because there's a problem. Okay. Now the difference is now the arteries in the rest of the body, they don't really contract; they dilate. It is fascinating because when you see the biology, is the reason why it dilates is because, you need a lot of energy into your brain to solve the problem. Find the resources. Okay, because there is a lot of maps and circuitries and memories. So really, what the body is doing is trying to be sure that I have a problem, it's money problem, okay, or there's a relationship problem, or there is a test problem. Or maybe one of my siblings made a mistake, problem. So when you're confronting those kind of events, your brain does something very different than when there is danger. Even though it's using the same chemicals, it's a total different message. Now, arteries in the intestine, they don't contract, they just expand. Okay? And also, blood vessels in the brain, they dilate to be sure that there is this oxygen running. Okay, of course your heart will pump, harder, and also you're going to have this butterfly sensation. Okay, or maybe your pants will sweat, or maybe you're going to have a dry, in your mouth.
Dry mouth. Right?
But it's different. This is amazing because now what the body's trying to do is be sure that you have access to resources, the resources to solve the problem. A difference when there is a danger, you don't need to solve any problem. All you have is one problem. You have a dog that wants to bite you and you have to run. Okay? You have a guy that wants to rob you and you have to fight him or run or call the police. No. You have only one thing. See, there is a big difference between the stress produced by danger. When it's danger, you have to run. You have to save your life. You have to protect yourself. When there's a problem, you don't have to protect yourself. You have to solve something. A new challenge came into your life. And if you don't move that stress into a danger stress, you solve the problem. It doesn't matter how difficult it is. It could be money. So now you got with new ideas. Okay, I need extra money. So you look inside your skills and your resources and your experience, or maybe you don't have it. But you can look outside. You may go into God and ask for help. You may go into your brother and talk to him and say, listen, I'm short with money. Will you lend me some money? Or maybe you can go to your boss or go to the bank. Or maybe you might say, geez, I need extra money, but I'm skillful on this. Or I can learn this new thing and I can make the extra, $200 or $500 that I need. But here's the kick. Most people don't understand what problem means. They don't understand that problems are challenges. They're opportunity for growth. Okay, it's an opportunity to create. Because, God doesn't want us to stay there, with the same stuff. I mean, tomorrow you're going to have to be open to and be flexible to the problem that will arise. Take it, embrace it. And then if you don't, start thinking too much, oh my goodness, this test, what's going to happen? Or maybe I don't have money, my family is going to be with no money, I'm going to be in the street, which is not even truth, okay? Because, if you do that, as I say, the problem is you turn the physiology stress and the good biology of the challenge stress to help you increase your opportunity. Learn from this, help solve the problem, become, the one that inspires. You turn this into a danger stress, and now contraction arteries. You can solve the problem. You're gonna feel poor. You're gonna feel that you're not gonna do the test well. You're gonna feel that your brother's gonna fall off the cliff, and you won't be able to really connect with the person that need help, and we start thinking foolishness. Okay, we think I'm poor, I don't have the money, and we start really entertaining this. This is a danger point because these chemicals continue running, the less pleasant emotion continue being in you, and you feel like, I'm capable, or, and that's another thing, because, when it's a problem, there are demands. There are demands. You have to do something, like in a job, no? If I have a company and they have all these orders, I have a demand. I need to bring more employees. Or if I have all these orders, I need to have, more raw material or maybe more equipment. So I need to really find the resources to I can fulfill the demand. The brain does the same. Okay, if you don't turn this stress into danger stress, you find the resources. And if you don't have it, other resources, you go outside. Okay, you are not afraid. Okay, you believe that you can get the resources from the outside. See, when there is danger stress, even though it's not even real, you feel like disconnected, afraid. You probably generalize things, and you might think, I don't think this person can help me. I don't think this person can do this to me. I don't think that person can really study with me or help me to get results. I don't think the teacher can really help me. So this is the
if you don't mind me
limitations.
interrupting, so because I remember you and I already had a conversation a few days ago about even your belief about stress. If it's like a bad thing, it's like causes you more stress and makes you more sick. So the line between, like, you're talking about danger stress, meaning like psychological stress, that there is a danger happening right now and there's a challenge and I can do this, is literally just, granted, like if you're in a dangerous situation, you're going to go into danger, your body naturally is going to do that, but other than that, the difference is what you're thinking and what you're focusing on. That's correct to say,
Yeah,
right? Your behavior, your attitude towards your circumstances, but also even stress itself.
Yeah, what we believe into, I found there's a bad news, okay? My son, for example, fell and he broke his bone, okay? Of course it's a challenge. It is a problem and I have to solve it, okay? And as you notice, most people under those circumstances, they solve the problem. Even if they don't have the money, they will have their kids, being taken care. 2 months later, the kid is running, and even if he had the money, because, now we don't think in ourselves anymore. It's not like, oh, poor me, no? Okay, I don't have the resources. You just move and, act upon it, take the kid into the hospital. You don't have the money, you talk to the administrator and say, I don't have the money, I don't have insurance, and you make a deal, and maybe you have a discount, and perhaps, you pay that bill in 8 months. And you were broke. You probably were a student with no money, and then 8 months later, your son is running. And so this is, as I say, we don't comprehend, it's beliefs. We haven't been taught what these emotions are. We relate this emotion like toxic. No, I feel, sad, and means I don't have to really deal with this, and that's what begins. So even though when there is a problem, you're going to have pretty much some of the same initial symptoms. Your heart is going to really, be pumping a little hard. That means something. That means that your body is pushing energy to your brain so you can find the resources. You got tension in your muscles. That means you got the strength to handle this. Okay, you have to reframe everything. So if I feel fear for money, that means, okay, that fear alone, or whatever it is that I feel, that emotion, it means I have a problem. I just found that I don't have the money to pay the rent. There's going to be some fear, which is an emotion, and I have to understand what my body is trying to do is helping me because I do have the resources, and also the resources outside. If I don't have it, the resources through everything else I can do by abiding and practicing my beliefs in God and finding in that way a solution to this, because it has to be solved. I can't just sit there paralyzed, thinking that I can do that. No, I have to go and find the money for the rent or whatever I need to do. So if I start having those symptoms, I have a little tension, that means I have the courage. I have the strength, and I'm capable because God made this body that way. And all these things that happen through the stress that is initiated under these circumstances, it means you have a new challenge, you haven't gone through this, it's time to learn this lesson. Or if I feel this butterfly in my stomach, I just think like when I want to talk to your mom. I feel nervous in the beginning. Okay, will she really like me? Will she really, want to talk to me? It's a good thing. It means that there's a message, because my intestine in my stomach is connected to hundreds of millions of cells in my brain. That means this really is important. It matters. It means I cannot just run away from this and pretend that this situation didn't exist. Is wow, this is matter. This means that I need to learn through this process. And if I feel any other symptom, just reframe it. Okay, it's a lot of beliefs that oh, this got to be the same awful thing and it's toxic, and I don't want these feelings. If we do that, then it becomes we start turning the stress a challenge to a stress a danger, and that's when we mess it up. We don't solve the problem properly. We think we solve it, but 5 months later we didn't learn the lesson. We had to go through the same problem again.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. We're just out of time, but I was just going to squeeze in a quick word. Actually, what you've been talking about reframing the way you think about stress to be more like a good thing instead of just something that's just hurting you all the time. It's interesting. I've been trying that out for the last few days, and it's been working really, really good. Like, usually I've noticed this patterns over the last 5 months. When I've been working after work, I'd have to take like an hour nap because I'd have migraines. And that would just bug me so bad because I have homework to do, I have other responsibilities, and I felt like it was just kind of slowing me down. But today, for instance, I just didn't feel any symptoms of just any migraines, just very calm. And I'm pretty excited because I'm just, my life just feels more in order now. And so just crazy. But thank you so much for meeting. And thank you so much for just listening in on our discussion. But if there is anything about stress that we didn't cover or that wasn't very clear, feel free to just comment in the comment section, and we'll be happy to talk about it in the next video. Or if we don't get it covered then, my dad will talk about it in his little hashtag Ask Ulises.
And Rebekah, just one last thing is, if we keep turning this normal stress of problems into stress of danger, since it's connection from the brain to the body, we're gonna start experiencing some sickness that can affect our body. So we can make this a habit to do this. Handle problem with a danger stress instead of the regular good stress, which is accept what happened. Let your body help you, and resources will come, and you know what to do.